Welcome back, everybody. So, in this video, we're going to learn about the for statement, for loop in Python. After that, we'll also do a small practice as well. So, get your IDE ready and follow along with me. Okay. All right. Start. Okay. So, before we go into detail of for loops, let's talk about reality of iteration in real life. Okay. So here are some examples. We have seen repetition or iteration in production lines, mail processing, shipment processing, counting, skip counting, and sometimes we count when we exercise, right? How many push-ups, all right? So we apply task or set of tasks iteratively. So that task may be common to all the things that we apply the task onto, or could be slightly changing as well. So, and also number of iteration would be definite number or can be depending on the condition as well. Okay. So on the other hand, you also already know that the main thing related to computing is the speed. Okay. Fast repetition. Okay. So it's pretty much the hallmark of computing. Okay, we get things done in really fast amount of time, and we repeat things in really fast amount of time. Okay, so then how do we achieve repetition in programming? So number one thing is, of course, the language grammar must support that operation. Pretty much every language does this. Okay, how this, and let's see how um, Python facilitates repetition or iteration. Okay, all right. So the first entity in iteration is for statement or for loop. Okay, it's a compound statement. Okay, so here's the syntax. So we have the for keyword and we have a loop variable, and we use in keyword, and then this is basically an iterable object, basically an object that can iterate, like a sequence that we learned previously. Okay, and inside the for loop, all first line of the for loop ends with a colon. Okay, and when inside that for loop we accomplish that we want to the things that we want to repeat. Okay, and we call it loop body. Okay, so okay, so loop variable is called the loop variable. Okay, so it's basically handle the iteration. An iterable basically any object that can iterate upon. Okay, so that could be a sequence like a list, a string, a range, or bytes, like binary objects like bytes or byte arrays, or a container like a dictionary or a set. Okay, and basically do something. Maybe it's basically the things that we accomplish inside the for loops, the task that we repeat. Okay, so the loop body basically has to be indented by 4 space or 1 tab, and every time loop variable has a value, the loop body gets executed. Okay, all right, so let's now talk about the program flow of for loops. Okay, so we know that program flow start from the very top. So from the top of the program, the flow enters to the loop. Okay. On each iteration, basically, Python check for the next item. Okay, from the iterable object. So the next item to be processed, so pick that one. So if there is such an item, basically it's Python execute the loop body once. Okay. So at the end of each iteration, Python return back to for statement and do this check again for the next item. Okay. If not, there's nothing to be processed, then basically the loop execution is done, and then the program flow return to main flow. Okay. So let's try to see this in a small animation. Okay. So what I'm going to do is now we're going to animate a small demo in which basically we are trying to print a welcome message to this, hypothetical virtual COVID party. So there are 3 guests, and then we are trying to greet them one after the other. Okay. All right. So let's start. So I first print the welcome message. Okay. So it's just this is the main program before we get into greet each individual separately. Okay. So I have 3 guests, so my range is 3. So this is the iterable right now. Okay. Remember we are keeping things simple. Okay. So the program before, okay, and that's printed this message to the output. So throughout this animation, this box will show you the output, and the box above will show you the lines of code. And on the left hand side, we'll see the flow chart. Okay, so let's start. So first Python check is the item is the last in the sequence. So this check is going to happen. And usually at the beginning, it's not the case. Okay, so the answer is no. So if it is no, then basically Python assign the next item to the loop variable. Okay, so next item of the iterable, the loop variable. So it does that assignment. And then it execute the body of the loop. Okay, and we saw the first line printed. Okay, and now it's going to check again. The same check is the item is the last in the sequence. Okay, all right. So that's that check, and it is again no. Okay, because we are in the second iteration right now, but this is we need to go until 3, right? So execute the loop body one more time. So we got the second execution, second line, and we are now inside this for loop basically. Okay, and it's gonna go back again and check the same thing. Okay, so answer is no again. Okay, so execute the loop body one more time. Okay, so we got the basically the last output. Okay, and we know that in a range 3 we only have 0, 1, and 2. So now in this check the result is going to be yes. So we covered all the elements in the iterable, in this case the range, and the program for now return to main program in which we print we welcomed all message. Okay, so it's a silly demo on how a pro loop flow, the program flow works. All right, so let's do a simple practice right now. Okay, so the problem is given a phrase, write a Python program to print the phrase in reverse order in a single line using a for loop. Okay, for example, given the word code, your program must print the reverse order. Okay, all right, so let's go over here. I'm going to quickly do a umpire process. Okay, a quick umpire process. So I'm going to get the problem, just quickly copy down. Okay, so start over here. All right, so All right. So basically, so we have the sequence of what's given, the input. Okay. So input is word. Okay. Or phrase. Okay. So output basically print reverse order. Okay. All right. So basically we have to go one by one each letter in the sequence and print them in the reverse order. Okay. So basically first we need to print, okay, the letter E. Okay. So print E and then print, okay. So then print O and then print D and then print C. Okay. So in reverse order. Okay. So basically I need to access from this in this string from this end to towards this end. Okay. All right. And need to access the letters from that order. Okay. So in the iteration scheme wise, okay, if we consider items in this string, in this sequence, basically items are characters. If we try to access it item by item, then we have to start from the beginning. Okay. So item by item, character by character iteration wouldn't work here because it's basically in a string, item by item iteration happens from left to right. So we need to basically go index by index from right to left. Okay. So basically we need to access -1 over here, and that is going to be, sorry, in here, -1, that's E, and -2 is D likewise. Okay. So, need to access, okay, from right to left, okay, using, we can use negative indexing. Okay. So that's the idea. So let's try to write our plan quickly. Okay. So step 1, okay, input, in this case word. Okay. So step 2, okay, so we need a for loop for, okay, for indexes. Okay, we are trying to access index by index. So in range, okay, so basically in range of indexes. So in this case it's a plan. So okay, so 3. So now we are inside basically. So 2.1, 2.1, sorry, basically we need to get the index of this word and print it. So print, and we need to print in a single line. So word indexes, okay, and basically, well, this is the plan. So we just need to write it plainly, right? So that's it. Okay. So let's write our code now. Okay. So implementation. Okay. So we get the word. So let's say word word equals code. Okay. And then for indexes in range. So how do we figure out this range? So this basically, that is the code to this one. Okay, so this range needs to start from -1. Okay, so and then basically goes down towards the end of the string, so -4 in this case. Okay, so -1 times the length of the uh, sequence. Okay, so all right, so let's basically we need to start from -1. Okay, and the step is going to be negative length. Okay, length of the word. Okay, and the step value would be -1. Okay, so let's now print. Okay, code word, and the index is going to be indexes. Okay, right. So let's run this one. Okay, all right. So we printed EDO. Okay, so basically we are out of one character and we need to print a single line. So let's modify our code. So end equals this, and we started with E D. So basically this happened to be the C is missing. Okay, so basically we need to start. We need to add one more over here. Okay, so -1. Okay, so all right, so we printed. Let's see, right here. Okay, so EDOC, the reverse order. So right here we needed to add one more, right? Because remember the stop value of a range is exclusive. That means we have to, it's gonna print one less than, so we need to account for that. Okay, so there you have it, our practice and our video on for loops.